What's up, guys? So, we are drawing the eyeballs today. Kind of went over it in class already, but here's just a quick refresher. When you're drawing your eyeballs, I already got my head drawn out. Give them cheekbones, jawline, chin. And you mark out halfway in the circle that you've made. Once you mark out halfway, you need to draw in your eye sockets. Top of the eye socket should touch that line. That's it. Shouldn't go above, shouldn't go too low, around that area. Of course, everyone's eye is different, so maybe your eye placement might be a little different. The reason why I draw the eye socket is because it helps with value later on, which I'll show you in a little bit. I put in the eyeballs. That's how big I usually make them. Now, if you notice, there's enough room to fit a whole nother eyeball in between these two. So you want to make sure that you can kind of fit in another eyeball right in the middle, because usually you have enough space for another one. So I'm going to do a couple examples for this eyeball. The eyeball, right? The way the eyelids work is that they wrap around the eyeball, okay? And they're going to come out just a little bit because it's on top of an eyeball. And then the bottom one's going to kind of go like this. This is kind of like a 3/4 view, but it's to help visualize what the eye is actually doing here. So, this is why I use spheres, is because skin is wrapping around this eyeball. So, if it's wrapping around this eyeball like this, over here, it's going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of mark out where my tear ducts are. I like to do that first. For the most part, it's broken up into 3 lines, right? For the upper eyelid, 3 lines, lower eyelid, 3 lines. I tend to follow the eyeball first, starting from the corner, okay? So, first one is a curve. Second one is going to be more of a horizontal line, more or less. Da-da. Last one is going to wrap around the eyeball, like that. Da-da. I'm going to do the same thing. This time, I'm going to go more so the opposite direction. Alright. And then just a partial circle for the iris. When you're shading the iris, you want to leave a little white spot somewhere there. Okay. Nice dark pupil. I tend to give the top part a little bit more shading because it's underneath the eyelid. Okay. That's how I shade my irises. So since we have our eyeball here, all right, we're going to use that outline to kind of shape our eyelids. Again, this is where it's becoming useful that we have this setup like this. And then on top of that, you got a little bit of skin coming like that. Eyebrows are going to sit right there. Eyebrows sit right on top of that eye socket. Now, in terms of shading, I didn't really go into that for class, so this is going to be a little bit useful. I like to go, I like to use line a lot to help distinguish value. That's just me. So once I go over it with one line and I feel that it needs to be darker, I'll go in the opposite direction to create that darker value. So that's what I'm going to do here. It's going to be darker on the corners, the eyelids, and it's going to do the same thing here. That way it helps get the point across that this is a sphere. It's going to be a little bit darker here, but it's going to stay light close to the edge here. All right. Alright, so if I look, I kind of filled up that eye socket with some value. The reason why is because our eyes sink into our skull, okay? There's a huge hole here, so that skin is going to be a little bit darker than, let's say, here in the cheek, where it's actually being pushed out, okay? So I'm going to kind of follow the same way that I did that eye right here. I tend to make it a little bit darker on the upper eyelid as well for men to help show that there's eyelashes. For women, you could just add in those eyelashes like that, but my irises are kind of off. It's okay. So if I were drawing from a 3/4 view, right, I'm going to draw the eyeball in a couple different ways. It'd be more so looking like this. You tend to want to keep that top part curved. This is like from a down below view. Okay. Let's say closed eyes. How would you draw closed eyes? That is a good question. Alright, we have someone's eyes who are closed. So my eyelid's going to come in. Once it hits the eyeball, it's going to wrap around that eyeball. And that's it. Comes in, hits the eyeball, wraps around the eyeball. Okay, you do want to add in the eyelids there. Maybe a little bit underneath. Maybe I'm going to give them some eyelashes. Alright, some eyebrows. Okay. So, quick refresher. Drawing the eyeball, give him a nice big eye socket. Drawing the eyeball itself, 3 lines on the upper part, okay? 1 horizontal line, wrapping around line. Second part for the lower eyelid, wrap around, horizontal line, wrap around line. And then start adding those dark values. If you got any questions, throw it down in the comments below. Other than that, thanks for watching.